Let's go explore the abandoned dams of the former Adams Mill in Manchester, Connecticut. The historic Adams Mill, which once produced world-class paper, has been transformed into a restaurant, but behind it sits some fascinating abandoned dams. The 3 dams can be viewed right along public trails, and they are each extremely unique. If you're looking to find and explore awesome places like this, be sure to check out my website, goexplore.com. That's GOXPLR.com. And check out my other social media accounts on Instagram and TikTok. The adventure starts at the former Adams Mill, located just off Adams Street in Manchester, Connecticut. Here you will be able to find the old mill building that has been completely renovated over the years and currently is home to the well-liked Elicit Brewing Company and Beer Garden. Prior to 2019, for 37 years, it was the Adams Mill restaurant, which was a staple of the town. Although I'd love to grab a beer and some food today, I am focused on finding some interesting abandoned structures. So I headed over to the Adams Mill trailhead, which can be found adjacent to the mill building. That's now the restaurant. Also at the trailhead is a couple pieces of paper with trail information, a trail map, and historic information about the area. I specifically looked for the location of the 3 abandoned dams on the map. The trail begins by walking parallel to the mill restaurant. You can actually look right into the beer garden at the back of the restaurant. It looks pretty nice, to be honest. A bridge then goes over the first abandoned dam. Under this bridge, you can see the old walls of the dam and some of the iron pipes which once helped it manage the flow of the Hockanum River. It is amazing to imagine what this dam was like decades ago when it was functional. It was the closest to the mill itself and obviously played a massive role in the production of paper and producing energy for the mill. The dam seems to be built of sandstone along with a couple pieces of iron found throughout. I tried to get down to the base of the dam, but sadly it was very overgrown. The other side of the dam, of course, was the restaurant and the beer garden. The beer garden patio seems to sit right above a stream which used to go right by the mill. Speaking of the mill, I should go over a bit of history behind it while we were walking to the other abandoned structures. The first structure we'll check out is the abandoned sandstone dam. In the early 19th century, before backhoes and Caterpillar tractors, numerous dikes and dams were built along the Hockanum River to harness water power for mill machinery. This hike shows remains of dams, ponds, slushways from long ago. Adams Mill was established in 1863 when Peter C. Adams purchased a paper mill, outbuildings, 38 acres of land, and Hockanum River water privileges. He purchased additional land, houses, and barns between 1869 and 1876. The present-day Elicit Brewing Company building was constructed in 1880. The Adams Mill flourished, and by 1884, 20 years after the doors first opened, Peter Adams was known as one of the oldest and most successful paper manufacturers in the United States. The product of his mills was shipped all over the world and known for its excellence in quality and finish. His paper was used for printing of the official World's Fair catalog in Paris in 1879, and he received a bronze medal in recognition. In a contest, Peter received a silver medal in Australia for paper he didn't even know had been placed on exhibition. It is also known that Mark Twain used this paper for the writing of his books. Peter Adams, a man of unblemished reputation, died in 1896. Financial decline and failure closed most mills in Connecticut by the 1880s and 1890s, leaving a few mill buildings and many ruins. The Hillard Mill and the Adams Mill are among the best preserved along the Hockanum River. So now that we have the history out of the way, let's get back to today's adventure. So as you can see, I've been walking around this abandoned sandstone dam. I believe this is one of the original dams of the mill property, which was established in the 1800s. If you saw on the front or back, I'm not sure exactly which side is which, but there was an interesting set of eyes on the dam, right on the other side of this little passway. But yeah, that was kind of fascinating to see. I'm not sure if those eyes were original or if somebody made them. I mean, they look carved in, so I'm not 100% sure about those eyes. But if anyone knows, definitely let me know in the comments. But yeah, this dam was super cool to check out. Just sitting there, and you kind of see the remnants of what used to be a stream or a river. I found a word like slushway, which I think might describe the type of stream which would go through a mill and be controlled by a dam. I'm not sure if that's a correct word or not, but that's just one word I saw online regarding this place. After checking out this old abandoned sandstone dam, I went looking for the hydroelectric dam, which I believe is made of brick and concrete and is a bit more modern. I'm not sure when it was built, but I know it's a pretty cool abandoned old structure, as I've seen a couple photos of it online before. I know, judging from the trail map at the trailhead, that it's somewhere along the Hockanum River. It seems to be towards the east of the end of the park. Eventually, I did find the remnants of the old abandoned hydroelectric plant, or dam, I guess. And this, coming to it, I've never actually met anyone who's been here before, so I was kind of, just trying to listen for anything, if there was anyone around, or kind of check for any, signs of anyone here. But luckily, I was the only one here today, so it was pretty low key. So I began by walking through this tunnel, which is underneath the hydro station. I believe this is where water probably once flowed and would help generate the power needed to run the mill. You could see a couple seconds ago there was some pipes on the side of the wall where probably water once flowed. I'm assuming there was some sort of I'm not actually 100% sure how hydroelectric dams work, but some sort of generation station motor type thing here, which would be powered by the water flowing. Not 100% sure. There's not too much information on this place, so I'm not completely sure what it looked like during its prime. But yeah, there was a hole in the floor, so you could actually look up from the tunnel into the old station. It was super cool to have this view from the tunnel, and I was not expecting it. It does seem like people might have like bonfires down here because it was very smoky, so maybe they have a fire in the tunnel system and let it just go through the roof. I wouldn't recommend that personally. I don't think it's legal either, so not a wise idea. You can see that nature is kind of reclaiming this place with some trees growing right up through it. And yeah, it was super pretty because of the fall foliage. And after checking this out for a couple minutes, I decided to head back out and see what else I could see. Oh yeah, actually in one of the corners there was this cool old metal ladder which went up to the station. There was a couple actually interesting kind of really narrow ladders that would lead up and down the station. You'll see one when I get above the station. But yeah, so I decided to walk out and then see what else I could see. Again, I'd never been to this spot before. Oh, there's one of the pipes. Never been to this spot before. I'd never known anyone to go to this spot, and I've only seen a few pictures online, mainly actually of the upper building, none of the tunnel and anything else around here. So yeah, you can see some of the old foundation. It looks kind of like a sandstone dam surrounding like a concrete core or something. I'm not sure. But I actually walked up this old dike, so there's actually a dike all around this property, which contained a 30-acre pond known as Adams Pond, and that kind of was what held the water, which would then flow through the dams to then generate the power to run the mill. So Adams Pond was a 30-acre pond in this area, which would help fuel the mill, along with the Hockanum River, which it seems like actually flowed right through this dam here. So maybe that's how this place worked. I'm not 100% sure. There's one of the narrow ladder ways, and then here we go. Here's the station. Super, super cool brick building. Kind of gave me like gas station garage vibes with this big opening here on the corner. But yeah, it was super cool to see. Walking through it, it was definitely pretty well covered in graffiti. It seems like people know about this spot. For sure, and all the windows had some cool old steel frames on them. Obviously no glass anymore. I'm not sure if that was taken away or kicked out by people, but many of the screens kind of stayed in, and you could actually see like the old locking mechanisms and stuff, so it was super, super cool. But yeah, some huge windows, and then the hole in the ground. Of course, you can't beat that. And then you can also see there's like a steel support system. Oh, there's one of the narrow ladder ways from above. And some views of the dam itself along the river, which we'll go check out in a few minutes. The roof seemed in fine condition. You can see a couple beams supporting there, and they don't really seem to be failing. No cracks or anything too seriously. These kind of trees growing right up through the station were really, really cool. to see, and a couple different holes in the walls and things, which again, I'm not sure exactly what would be in this building, but probably some generators and stuff. There's one of the beams in the center, and you can see the floor of this place is definitely in rough condition with 2 holes. So those beams may be the last thing standing after all this concrete falls down. So definitely be safe if you check out this spot. I mean, it's not recommended to go inside and look, but if you do, definitely be safe. I stepped on a bunch of glass bottles accidentally here, so there was already tons of glass around, and now there might be even more. So definitely wear some good shoes. I wouldn't take a dog here because of all the litter. There could also be needles and plastic bottles and aluminum cans and all different stuff, so I wouldn't want to get them into that. So after going inside the old building, I decided to just kind of take another look outside. I mean, the architecture here is really, really cool, and the sheer size of this place is amazing. The super tall ceilings and the huge windows is definitely unlike anything I've seen before when it comes to these types of abandoned dams. This one was definitely one of the coolest I've seen. You can see a couple more pieces of graffiti outside here, and I'm just going to take one more look inside before I head down to the river to try to see any remains of the dam that once went across. This station, though, definitely super cool. Definitely important to be safe while checking it out, but it is nice that it's right near a public trail. I didn't see any no trespassing signs around. The only ones were facing some of the private businesses that neighbor this place, but this is definitely, or it definitely seems to be, considering it's on the trail map and everything, it seems to be public, which is super cool. Getting down to the base of the river, it was fun to see the whole dam. You could see the concrete foundation and then the brick building above. Pretty cool to go inside there and check that all out. You can also see that looks like some type of remains of the old dam itself. Another shot of that. But yeah, I went out on one of the concrete structures, which kind of goes across the river. Obviously, it doesn't work anymore as it used to, but I think this was some of the remains of the dam. So you can see it was probably pretty large and fueled the water right through the station to power those generators. I didn't spend too much time down there because there's not much on the river. I headed back to the parking area along one of the dikes and then just checked out the abandoned building at the trailhead, and then I headed home. So I hope you like this video. Please subscribe, like it, and click the link in the bio or down below if you want to learn more about this spot.